for a virtual event with author Sylvia Moreno Garcia on January 27th. You can find details at wnyc.org/getlit.
The Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next here on WNYC. And later on Morning Edition, the pandemic has cut off many children with severe emotional, behavioral, or developmental disorders from the therapy they depend on. This at a time when many are facing extra stresses.
Just the isolation of the kids not being in school, the lack of social interaction, that in and of itself exacerbates the situation.
We'll have more on that coming up next hour. It's 35 degrees now in Central Park, expecting a high of 42 this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies today, and then tonight some more clouds, a low of 34 degrees. Tomorrow we could start the day with a few snow showers before noon, and then partly sunny with a high of 38.
The new administration has no intention of lifting international COVID travel restrictions this month.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by the United States Postal Service, offering postage stamps for purchase at more than 40,000 supermarkets, drugstores, office suppliers, and wholesale clubs. And by UKG. Ultimate Kronos Group offers HR solutions to connect modern workforces. UKG.com. Our purpose is people.
I'm David Brancaccio. Good morning. Germany today extended its COVID lockdown until mid-February amid renewed concerns about coronavirus mutations that make it spread more easily. Meanwhile, the incoming Biden team plans to quash a last-minute order by President Trump to lift travel restrictions from Europe, including the UK and Brazil, a move that had momentarily cheered the travel industry. Marketplace's Nova Safo is here with more. Nova? All right, we'll get back to Nova in just a second. Presidential inaugurations typically attract donations from corporations, wealthy individuals, and others who want to cement friendships with an incoming administration. Well, maybe supporting an inaugural ball or receptions. But given a roaring pandemic and the security concerns of the moment, the festivities have been scaled back. Does the potential money from well-wishers go away or go somewhere? Here's Marketplace's Andy Euler.
Like everything else during the pandemic, this inauguration is going to look different. But the way the donations for the celebration are regulated remains the same. Chara Torres-Spelisi is a law professor at Stetson University. She says a donation to an inauguration is one of the most unregulated aspects of campaign finance.
The only two big rules are keep accurate records and don't take money from foreigners.
She also says funds can't be used for federal elections or transferred to party committees. It is an opportunity for businesses to get a seat at the table with an incoming administration, even if the table is virtual this year. The inaugural committee said it won't accept money from lobbyists or from the fossil fuel industry, but Craig Holman at Public Citizen says the Biden team could have taken a stronger stand against corporate money.
It really isn't going to cost that much, so there's no reason that the Biden inaugural team has to open this up to special interests money.
The committee did limit the amount of money a business can give to $1 million and $500,000 for individuals. I'm Andy Euler for Marketplace.
There's our Nova. We did just connect to Marketplace's Nova Safo on that travel restriction story. Nova?
Right. Sorry about that, David. The restrictions we're talking about ban most travelers from Europe, the UK, and Brazil. President Trump's proclamation lifting those restrictions is scheduled to take effect a week from today. That means Joe Biden will be president. And soon after the White House announced Trump's decision, Biden spokeswoman Jen Psaki tweeted that no, travel restrictions won't be lifted next week. Not only that, she said the Biden administration plans to, quote, strengthen public health measures around international travel. Now, she didn't expand on what that means exactly, but it does appear that Trump's last-minute action won't last.
What is the case for loosening travel restrictions, dare I ask?
Well, the reason Trump's decision would take effect next week, should it happen at all, is that it would coincide with new COVID testing requirements for international visitors to the U.S. And airlines say testing makes travel restrictions unnecessary. They've been pushing to get rid of travel bans. They've seen travel to the U.S. from some parts of Europe decline 95% or more. At the same time, the World Health Organization says travel bans appear to be effective. So, and certainly U.S. citizens still can't travel to much of Europe. So the bottom line, we're not there yet, David.
All right. Marketplace's Novosafa, who's going to fix his crashy computer there. Checking the markets. S&P futures up 0.8%. The Dow future up in a similar range. The NASDAQ future up 1%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Fidelity Wealth Management, where a dedicated Fidelity advisor can give clients a fresh perspective on their full financial picture. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. And by C3.ai. C3.ai software enables organizations to use artificial intelligence at enterprise scale, solving previously unsolvable business problems. Learn more at C3.ai. And by Constant Contact, with email marketing, websites, online stores, and other resources, committed to helping small businesses and nonprofits stay connected and do more business online. More at ConstantContact.com.
The confirmation hearing for President-elect Joe Biden's nominee to be Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, Janet Yellen, is set for this morning. In about 3 hours' time, it's supposed to start. She used to have that other supremely powerful economic policy job, Federal Reserve Chair. At Treasury, she'll have enormous say over matters that affect our livelihoods. Here's Marketplace's Sabri Benishore.
Janet Yellen has had a connection to public service since the 1970s, when she started out as a Fed economist. Since then, she's run Bill Clinton's Council of Economic Advisors, she ran the San Francisco Fed, and served as chair of the whole Federal Reserve System before President Trump declined to reappoint her. That is the short version of her resume.
She will be maybe the most qualified Treasury Secretary that we've ever had in the history of the United States.
Andrew Levin is a professor of economics at Dartmouth and was an advisor to Yellen at the Fed a decade ago.
She was the best boss that I've ever had. She has a lot of common sense. She doesn't jump to conclusions. She wants to think things through carefully.
Don Cohn, senior fellow at the Brookings Institution and himself a former vice chair of the Fed, calls Yellen conventional as economists go.
But I think with a twist. And the twist in my mind is she's very aware of how the world really works.
Some economists see the world in numbers and complex models. Cohn says Yellen sees it in terms of how real people are affected on the ground.
When she was chair of the Federal Reserve Board, she emphasized the advantages of running with very strong labor markets because they would lift up people who are at the bottom of the income distribution, give them opportunities.
Yellen enjoys bipartisan support, but senators will likely ask questions during her confirmation hearing that reflect their economic concerns of the day. Consequences of deficit spending, whether and how much more fiscal stimulus is needed. Some of those issues will be among the first she would face on the job. Seth Carpenter is chief economist at UBS.
One of the immediate priorities of the Biden administration will be dealing with the COVID crisis and thinking about some sort of response to that. And she'll be part of the economics team debating what exactly should the administration be pushing for with the Congress.
Yellen is not expected to have any trouble getting confirmed. In New York, I'm Sabri Benishore for Marketplace.
Interest rates higher still, the 10-year benchmark up at 1.12%. I'm David Brancaccio with the Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.
WNYC is supported by Shepherd Mullen,